Hello, welcome to the program Journalists Roundtable on Global TV. My name is Topsy Gimba, your host. Journalists Roundtable, it's a program that comes to you 3 times in a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where we look into the dailies where the issues are trending there, and then we bring them forth for understanding for those who are watching us right now. Don't forget, Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times 276. You equally find us on all the social media platforms. Watch us in Nigeria and even beyond. Usually, the program is meant for journalists who are the people that write stories, and then they come back and make analysis of some of these issues that are published today. Indeed, with me, my colleagues are sitting right around to help me to discuss some of these issues that we'll be looking at this evening. By my right, it's my usual friend and colleague, Uyi Agbamofobi.
Thank you, Topsy. Good to see you.
Did I get it right?
Well, on a scale of 10, maybe we'll give you 7.
Over 10.
Right.
Yeah, strategic communicator here in the Global TV. By my left, it's my colleague, the big tall guy in the person of Obon Usoro in Collier, an analyst within the house. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you. I was almost flattered by your introduction, but I refuse to be flattered.
Don't worry. As we move on, we shall be doing that more and more. Of course, there are so many issues we are going to look into these even on this edition. We have what's happening right now in Katsina State, where the governor, although it's a leaked information, otherwise probably would have known basically what's happening in that state. But because it was blown off by a Sahara reporter, where we're told that the government was initiating how to free 70 bandits because of high level of insecurity in that state. You know very well that closer to about 15 or so local government out of 33 are said to be under the control of bandits in Katsina. Farmers pay tax before they go to farm, and again pay tax to harvest, and that becomes a very big problem for the government. And the only way to solving the problem was to release them as peace deal. And I wonder, is that the way it's supposed to be? A person who kills, who burns, who even takes your family or molests them in the way he or she wants it, and then at the end of the day you see give him that succor, it's unfortunate. Then we'll have to look into that. Again, EFCC handed over some of these arms said to have found in the residence of the former Attorney General of the Federation, Awaka Malimi, handed those arms to DSS to investigate. Of course, whether or not Malemi has that right to acquire weapons is a question to be asked. But I know these are some of the things most of the highly placed Nigerians do in aiding and abetting criminality in the country. But now we are gradually beginning to name them, beginning to see them coming out in that format. Again, a commissioner of finance in the cabinet of Governor Bala Mohammed, who is called Yakubu Ademu, said to have transferred closer to about 9.something million US dollars to one Miyetti Allah Kaltahaure leader who lives very close to the Kefi. He's called Bello Bodojo. Again, you know, there was this particular time where Bala has been accused by some other people, particularly Wiki, where he alleged that he is a bandit sponsor, but he denied. But again, look at some of these revelations we are beginning to receive concerning that. And there are so many of these issues we have seen. Again, a former local government in Borno State, you know, has been kidnapped with another person alongside. The kidnappers are saying until they pay closer to about 345,000 US dollars before they have their lives back to them. So these are the issues we're going to be looking at. So I wouldn't mind to throw these issues open for us to look into. Let me just go to Uyi to tell us basically, is that true that governor with his members could do what we're beginning to hear in Katsina State, freeing 70 bandits because it's a deal to have these farmers have access to their land?
I think this, excuse me, thank you first of all, Topsy, for the opportunity. I think this requires verification. I mean, we have to authenticate the story. to be double sure. That's number one. But naturally, one would also have expected that by now, the governor of Katsina State, talking about Mr. Diko rather, or his media team or handlers should have already responded or reacted to this sort of news, because this is an issue that borders on national security. It's beyond the walls of Katsina State. That's very important. Second, assuming without any concession to whether it is true or not, that it is what has been reported, right? You are now asking yourself, what is the motive? What is the end game? What kind of, if you like, counter-insecurity playbook the Katsina State government is deploying in this case? But again, some persons will say there could be some iota of truth in it, because we're seeing in recent times how that Zamfara State government and Katsina State government have been in opposite directions, so to speak, in terms of the method or approach in tackling insecurity. For example, just for context, the Zamfara State government says, look, no going back, we're not negotiating with bandits, with criminals, with insurgents, with terrorists. Even though, again, there are people who believe that, look, that's just for the optics behind, as it were, the curtains. They have a way of getting around those issues. But at least that's the much we know officially about Zamfara State government and its stance on tackling insecurity, especially as it has to do with whether or not to negotiate with bandits and other criminals. However, on the flip side, the Katsina State government thinks otherwise. The Katsina State government thinks that, look, whatever we can do to bring peace back, to restore peace, so our people again can sleep with two eyes closed, they can go back to their farmlands without fear of being molested or attacked in any way. I mean, by all means, why don't we do that? But then you're not asking yourself, if that is happening, assuming that is happening at the subnational level, that is at the level of Katsina State, for example, how does it weigh side by side the position of the military? Because the military would tell you, look, we don't negotiate with bandits or terrorists, because time and again the governors will say there's need to increase military presence in their states and so on and so forth. And we're even hearing unconfirmed sources saying that, look, the military is overall not happy with this idea of some governors negotiating with bandits and all of that. It's sort of, it downplays the work they are doing. It makes Nigeria come undone, in a manner of speaking. It reduces the respect and the sovereignty that Nigeria ordinarily should enjoy. These are some of the issues we're looking at. But if, on a final note, it is true, with a big if, that Katsina State government has actually moved in this direction, released these 70 bandits, or if you like, terrorists, the question is, who are the stakeholders in the negotiations that led to this final action? Is very important. And then we should have expected that by now there's already a reaction, because you can't deal with insecurity as an isolated subnational. It's not possible. For example, on Global Morning today, we took our time to look at the issue of kidnapping in Edo State, how that has led to a spring of protests across the state, to the point that students in Epoma, which is
Central.
Edo Central, where you have the university, are now saying that, look, we're even afraid to resume school on account of insecurity. We don't know if we'll be the next to be kidnapped. And we're saying that the government can't do that alone. The government must be in direct synergy, must be in sync, whatever it's doing, with the federal government, especially as it has to do with the defense and intel leadership. So who is the government of Katsina State in touch with? Who are the stakeholders in all of this? Have the different branches of the military be carried along? Can we confidently and authoritatively say that the police are on board as far as this issue is concerned? Because we're tired of your word against my word, and the next thing you know is the media handlers of Governor Diko would come out and say, well, we are doing a rejoinder, or there's no iota of truth. It is a political move sponsored by our political opponents. Meanwhile, lives are being lost and properties worth billions are destroyed.
Quite unfortunate, really. I might not go against the way you put it, whether or not it should be seen, whether it happened or it didn't happen. But I've seen several occasions where before now, where these government authorities or officials will allow bandits well armed to enter the community either for a wedding or for a peace talk, well armed, and after they have finished their normal discussion, they will now go back to the bush.
They even took pictures with them in some cases.
Yes, some are collecting numbers of these terrorist leaders. So this story might not be quite far from some of those things we've been seeing before now. In your own assumption, what do you think we're supposed to do? Can it be said for a person who's a governor to negotiate without allowing the...
Mwazu, who's come out to say that this deal in Nigeria, which is the policy of rehabilitation that we've seen, the policy started during former late President Muhammadu Buhari's time in office as a national policy of dealing with banditry, trying to give them the same essence